So, how are you, my dear friend?
Hello. It's been interesting. How are you?
It has been interesting. It continues to be interesting. It will continue to be interesting. How was that?
Yes, that's the message I'm getting as well. I'm trying to ground and flow, and it's not always easy. So,
Yes, that's
yeah.
true. And I think, especially as we go into this super new moon in Aquarius with Chiron acting up, grounding is a really, really good thing, a
Yes.
really necessary thing.
Yes, indeed. And it's interesting because I think that word, I just want to pause there, grounding. People are like, "Oh yeah, what do I do? Like sit on rocks and stuff like that." And it can be for me, it's that mental capacity of just feeling myself like I put a vortex of energy or like a flow of energy from the top of my head down all the way across my body, all the way through my body, down through my feet and through the floor. And I just ground that way. And I find myself constantly doing it now and doing it for my son and reminding other people, Kate, let's just settle into the energy and we still want that connection, right? From um, the universe and our bigger oneness. It doesn't take away from that. As we're grounded, we actually connect more. And I didn't learn that for a long time. And when that came to me, it was such a blessing. So,
I heard it from someone, a little tip, it doesn't matter. You can be in just really, maybe you're having an awful, horrible morning where everything is just not going right. And you can ask at any time, please send your energy into and through me. And
yeah.
and it will help. It will come through. But you
Mhm,
have to ask.
yeah.
Or you can do like you said, or you can breathe. I've been doing a lot of single breaths, and then okay, the main part of it, like you said, is to concentrate on this is what I want to change right now. This is the energy I want to be in right now.
Yeah.
And if you make that choice, once you've made that choice, the way becomes so much easier.
Yeah.
But right now we're having to make it a lot of times every single day.
Yes. Yes. So,
Oh,
thank you for that 100%. And I know that both of us have had interesting days already. And I'm going to use that word a lot, interesting, because I don't, I don't want it to be negative and I don't want it to be overly like positive. It's what it is, and it's fascinating. So,
and it is in a much larger sense what we need right now for our greatest growth or evolution, or it's helping us get to the other side where we really want to be, and holding the picture of what that other side looks like is
mhm,
so important right now.
mhm,
And in that, I think, um, in the journal, she suggested us we read through this quote by Marianne Williamson in A Return to Love, her book, Return to Love. And I think it's perfect for right now, just like she did. So
okay,
I'm just going to read it real quick here for us.
please.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. It's very, very powerful.
And perfectly timed.
Yes.
And that kind of writing is timeless.
And she wrote in the journal, not Marianne Williamson, but
Yes.
in the journal there was a note about on the day of the super new moon, read this and consciously take it in, but really, as you read it, listen to and hear the words and feel the power behind them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's what she's saying right now is it's really about being you, being the best you can be, and not shrinking away from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of the healing that's going on right now, which is it's all about healing, but it's not about, okay, I'm sitting in this office and whatever they do is going to heal me. No, this is, we get out of our comfort zone. We get to look inside of us and see who we truly are, and we get to heal ourselves from within, because as you and I both know, all healing comes from within.
Yeah.
It doesn't come from without. It isn't from the outside world. It's all inside of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people say, well, what happens when I go to the doctor and I feel better after? Or what happens if I go to a naturopath or a physiotherapist and they do stuff and I feel better? Yes, because you've allowed, right?
If you believe it's possible, it is. If you
Exactly.
believe it's not possible, it isn't.
Yeah.
And in that lays the way forward for any healing.
Yeah.
What do you believe is possible? What
Exactly.
do you believe you are capable of?
Yeah. 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 Beautifully said.
And how many of the boxes do you have to break down to get to who you truly are, so you can allow and believe who you truly are?
Yeah. Yep. And as we said earlier, when things are like when our walls are broken down, when the boxes are broken open, it's not that we sometimes get to walk on beautiful grass as soon as we break that thing down. We're walking on the shards, we are walking on the tough stuff because that's part of the transition. And right? And
And
then we
trying
get,
very hard to avoid the nails that are sticking up.
yeah. Yes, yes, because scars can come from that too if we allow it. If it's like something that we're like, oh man, this was really hard and not gonna, and this is another thing you want to talk about, but not let it go as I'm walking away and through between the nails. So
It
yeah,
is easier to let it go, to let just release it. If you realize, maybe you can look back at the box and see that it's just a box and it's now in pieces and it's no longer useful in
yeah,
that form. And
yeah,
okay, I release the box and I'm going to move on.
yeah, yeah. Nice. So what would you like to do? Do you want to bring the wisdom keepers in at this point?
They are basically here today, but yes, we can bring them in, and you can ask them questions about all of this. You can structure it however you wish. We can just kind of let them talk, but they've already been talking. So
Okay.
it's up to you, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. I always love, you know, the connection that you have even right now, just as always. love chatting with you and knowing that they're there all the time too. I, I guess it's just thriving type questions. We're all surviving through this. And when when we're faced with the fact that those of us who are feeling everything right now, and we don't necessarily have people around us who are the same, like we are the grounding rods for pretty much everyone in our lives, save a few. And just like you and I, we can be thousands of miles apart and still know that the connection's always there. It's just remembering when we're in the thick of it with holding space for others to connect with the stuff that replenishes us. I think I say that all too often.
Remember that you are not alone, ever. You have never been alone. And also remember that your perception of being alone or separate is not real.
Mm-hmm.
There is no separation. There is no right or wrong as you would perceive. There is nothing in the perception that is real. And yet, it is your experience that makes it so important that you are where you are right now, that you are in what you call life, in form. You are experiencing so much for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And though we are guiding you, we also understand that your willingness to be in this spot, because it is not easy,
Mm-hmm.
It's beyond measure. We send so much gratitude to you constantly and surround you in love, but not a love. The word that you all use does not come close. We'd rather put it in the word bliss. We surround you in bliss. And when you get into what you call the thick of it, know that we are there, holding you, guiding you, bringing you forth, and that you are never going to be alone. And reach out to the others. There's so many more than you can even imagine. Even as you feel completely alone, like there is nothing around you, there's always everything around you. And it's all, every form is sourceness. You are surrounded by it constantly, whether you are in a building or on a concrete sidewalk or in the trees or wherever you happen to be. Understanding, knowing that all of that is supporting you, and it is your perception. If you can change your perception to complete oneness with everything, you will never feel that separation again. This does not necessarily mean that it's going to be easy at all times. You are here to have an experience, and an experience requires that you sometimes break boundaries, or that you, in order to move forward as a seedling, or let's start with a seed even. The seed is in the ground and it has to break out of its coating just to even start being.
Yeah.
And as it grows and grows, each step of growth, it has to change. It has to evolve to become its full and final plant. But when it blooms, it is so beautiful. in so many ways. And you all are at the point now where you're getting very close to blooming. But even at that, it's changed constantly.
Yeah.
But know that we are there watching your joyous entry into oneness with us.
Beautiful. Thank you for that insight and reminder, because I feel we have all of this, as you know we do. It's just being reminded. It's remembering a lot of this, because we are these beautiful flowers in these new forms of being human. What could you say to people who are struggling with knowing they need to let some things go, but it's hard to do it because, say, they've worked for years on getting to the point where they're at, and it's like a tipping point where they're ready to hit that send button, or in a sense finally launch something in what they've wanted for a decade even. And now all of a sudden, in this new awareness, this new consciousness, they're like, this has nothing to do with what I'm supposed to be doing. Letting that go can be really tough. And I'm seeing that a lot more with people that I have come to me, but also like in the physical form, and some stuff personally too. So what guidance could you offer with that?
You all think that what you've worked so hard for is so hard to give up, but it truly is a choice, only a choice. Even our channel at this moment is changing, giving up the model of business that has been handed down for very long, and changing to a model that works with the new world. And yes, that is possible. But that means you must be able, be willing. And I think willing is probably the biggest word
Mhm.
here. That's me adding in a little bit. You
Mhm.
must be willing to let go of what doesn't serve. If you if you know it doesn't serve, why do you hold on to it?
Mhm.
Is it because you don't see that it will be so much better without it? Is it because you fear that you are not good enough to be able to have this new? Maybe you're not deserving of it? And where does all of this come from? We would ask you to look at where this comes from and notice if it is serving you. And if that isn't serving you, it should be easier for you to allow it to leave.
Mhm.
And that is a key word right now. We, as well as so many others, have put it out there. Allow, allow. If you're at that point where you need to make a huge choice, think about it, yes. Look inside your heart, yes. And when you are as ready as you will get, because you are never ready for big changes, as any human is not ready for big changes. Consider relationships, children, moving, all of the big changes. No one is ever ready
Yeah.
for it. But these changes enhance and make so bright the tapestry that is your experience. Yes, you can stay small and stay in your box. What colors does that add to your tapestry?
Mhm.
Is that really what you want to see?
Mhm.
Or do you want to see the glory of the colors that can be, that you know can be, when you let go and allow the new to come in.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it's like you said, think about if it serves you and your purpose. What if the things that you have to let go could serve others? Is it what you're going to be doing anyway will serve those people in another way?
If you can give it to them, you can let go as you do clothing and you send it to a second-hand store and
Mm,
someone else uses it. If it
mm,
is something that someone else could use,
mhm,
allow that. But
mhm,
if it is something that they might like to use but would continue to keep them small,
mhm,
maybe it's better to consider letting it be composted in whatever fashion that might be
mhm.
into something that would work better for the highest good of all.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well said. Beautiful. I think that's a lot of food for thought for people, especially in this time of interestingness. So thank you.
We are grateful for the opportunity to be here with you, and we surround you in joyous bliss.
I love that. Thank you so much. And I send that bliss of love right back to you. Hmm. Wonderful. And thank you too, Lei, for allowing what you have allowed in your life to be at this beautiful point to connect with the wisdom keepers on a constant and to allow me to be part of it every now and again. And I know it's constant. We talk about over the water feeling the connection, and yeah, but this is extra special too, to be able to do this.